We're going live and we are live. Morning thoughts, morning thoughts, morning thoughts. Shout out to Seymour for being here first. Shout out to Esser and Odetta. Shout out to Roxy21. Donna Davis is in the building. Jane Ander, Virtuous Fire is here this morning. Perlis123. I'm having a brain fart. We call it a brain fart, or I don't know. But it's one of them kind of mornings. Shout out to Sean Cassell. Big up yourself. Thanks for being here, Audrey Wright. Shout out to the people going out to work this morning. Shout out to the people coming in from work this morning. Extra special, big up, shout out to the people who work multiple jobs. I have the utmost respect for you. Shout out to my entrepreneurs, my stay-at-home moms and pops, my retirees. Shout out to the drivers, the Uber driver, the Lyft driver, the truck driver, taxi driver, food delivery drivers, round town and long distance truck drivers. Shout out to the garbage truck driver, the bus driver, the train driver, all the drivers. Shout out to law enforcement personnel. Shout out to medical field personnel. Shout out to military personnel. Shout out to everybody that's up and out to get it this morning. By the sweat of a man's brow, so shall he eat bread. That means you can't stay in your bed and get it. You got to get up and get out and go get you something, right? All right, you gotta get up, get out, and get something. Don't let the days of your life pass by. Who sang that song? That was like back in the day. I think I was in junior high or something when that song came up. You gotta get up, get out, and get something. Don't let the days of your life pass by. Morning, people. Here we are this morning. I'm feeling pretty good this morning, even though I've been up since 1 a.m. I feel good also because y'all know I did the eye surgery thing recently and my eyes are just getting better and better. And now that I'm able to actually look into the camera without blinking all the time and my eyes watering up, I'm just more thankful as the days go by. So shout out to Erica Sr. for being here. Onika St. John Jones, Karen Notice is in the building. BM, Rosalind Smichael is in the building this morning. Vicky Victory, Brahmo Wright, Jet Shelley, thank you for being here. Sarah Cayente Hot is in the building this morning. Reggae Girl Bento is here as well. Senior Sexy Sharon Spence, Lady J. Mervyn the Point Jamaica Kerr is in the building. Andrea Shervis is here. Wayne Nathan is here. Elaine Brown, Audrey Wright is in the building this morning. And I said Sean Cassell before. Sean, big up yourself and thank you for reminding me to remind everyone. Please hit the like button. It helps the videos to trend. More people know that we're here in the morning time, so they come over here and join us. That kind of thing. All right? If I didn't call your name, you already know. Manners and respect and big up yourself. I have some good news this morning, but we have a serious discussion ahead of us. So let's get into the good news first, right? Shout out to Ricky Trooper again. Ricky Trooper, a prominent person in our sound system, culture, reggae, dancehall culture, Jamaican culture. And he lost his daughter recently to a man that took her life, allegedly, right? Because I wasn't there, I didn't see him do it, but it is said that he is the main suspect and then he went on the run. Well, Mr. Man has been caught. Remember, I did a video recently and I said that he was 40-something years old and she was 20-something and all that. You know, people were saying the age difference isn't even really that far. It didn't really make a difference about the age difference so much as the person and the personality of the person or whatever. But yeah, we were on the lookout for him. And the good news is that he was caught. Now, I'll tell you this. A lot of people... I don't want to say, let me be careful how I say this, because sometimes you say stuff and you implicate people in things that, let me see how to say this now. Some people have links and connections that, how should I put it? Okay, let me give you an example. So a person like a bounty killer, right? You could be in Jamaica, and if you're in certain parts of Jamaica and you say the wrong thing about certain people, you might find somebody get overly aggressive with you about it. And if you to the point where it could even be detrimental, right? And that person doesn't need to be anywhere around. That person doesn't need to be around to say, oh, you hear him diss me? Yo, deal with him for me, or handle him, or you do something to him. That person doesn't need to be that person doesn't even need to be on the island. That person could be in the UK on tour. That person could be in another country somewhere. But they're just people that have put together relationships and strong links over the years, and their links run deep. And some of the people they're connected to are big and well connected as well, right? Both in the streets and in the industry. So, Ricky Trooper is one of those kind of people, as far as that goes. So, some people were not too happy that he got caught by law enforcement. They wanted the streets to catch him. They wanted the streets to catch him. Connecticut, on their news site, they posted a picture of him, and here he is. He without the hat. He's in custody. There he is. So he's arrested. He's in custody, and that's the guy who is said to be baby daddy for Ricky Trooper's daughter's children, also, um, or child, also the one who's supposed to be responsible for her death. There was a message from one of her friends that said, you couldn't have her, so you didn't want anybody else to have her. I don't know. That kind of points to one of those kind of situations where then there's another one that said he shot her while she was laying down sleeping. Either way, she was found dead in her apartment, in Connecticut, and here he is. Here he is. Long run, short catch. I don't know if he thought this was Jamaica or something where, you could be wanted man and be unwanted man list forever. Or Francis, 41 years old. Local police announced on Monday, today is Tuesday, they announced on Monday that a man who is said to be the suspect in the killing of 23-year-old girlfriend, who is the daughter of a prominent figure in the Jamaican reggae scene, has been apprehended out of state. So he was not caught in Connecticut. And we had noticed that he was heading to Florida, and we were asked to look out, keep your eyes out, head on a swivel, look out, see if you see him coming this way, because they were told that he was coming this way. Apparently, he went another direction, right? So Derrick Francis, he's 41. He was arrested in Ohio, and he will be charged with the murder of Brianna Destiny McCoy when he is extradited back to Connecticut, says Captain Kevin Gilliran, who is the public information officer for the Bridgeport Police Department. His bond has been set at $3 million. Usually when they give you a bond so high, $3 million, they probably already have a good idea about your finances, and then they hit you with a $3 million bond, knowing that you can't pay it. In other words, they probably have enough evidence already to give a strong suspicion of guilt. So they don't want you to go anywhere. And plus, you were on the run, which means you don't have to tell us that you're a flight risk. We know you ran, right? And it took us searching and putting out wanted posters and all that stuff to find you. I want Jamaica to pay attention to this. I want Jamaica's ruling system, as in law enforcement officials, investigators, private investigators, police officers, so on and so forth. I want them to pay attention to how this is done and how it's done so efficiently. It starts with a national DNA database, right? You can't run anywhere here. In all 50 states, you can run, but you won't be running for too long. They cast that net out, and you're coming in sometime soon, right? I would like to thank the Bridgeport Police Homicide Squad and all our law enforcement partners in Ohio for the speedy apprehension of this violent suspect, is how he is described by Captain Kevin Gilliram, a violent suspect. When he went on a run, his poster said armed and dangerous. So, that is it for him. Now, the Francis, also known as Ainsley Forbes, He has two names. He operates under two names. His first one is Derrick Francis, but he has another name or another set of IDs in the name of Forbes, also known as Ainsley Forbes. He was dating McCoy at the time of her death. That is what this report says. I don't know the ins and outs of the family, because you might hear somebody else say they wasn't dating, them did break up already, and because him couldn't have her, she said it was over and she was moving on, and he was jealous, so him end up kill her. Because I've heard that as well, right, from people who say they are friends of hers. Now, social media is made for everybody to talk. So if people get on social media and say stuff like, yeah, man, me and SoFlo used to go school together, man. We went to the same school and we grew up together, knowing from he was 7, and they never met me in their life. So that's just social media. I'm just saying, as the information is put out there, I've seen reports that say that, you know, they weren't together anymore. They had recently broken up and she was calling it quits. She wanted to go our separate ways and he just wouldn't let her. I don't know if that's true because this report says they were dating at the time of her death, and this is from the Connecticut Post. At the time of her death, according to the police, Gilleran said that, which is the captain of the police department, said that the police had previously responded to other incidents involving the couple. So it wasn't the first time that they had gotten to altercations and the police had to be called into it. He characterized McCoy's death as a domestic violence homicide. Domestic violence homicide usually fits the bill of a person that was abused and abused to the point of death. Continuous abuse throughout the relationship, which eventually led to death. And that's what that is. Residents of the North End condominium complex reported hearing gunfire, followed by sounds of a car speeding away on the morning of April 6th, before McCoy was found fatally shot around 11:20 a.m. According to the police, her baby was located at the scene. So they have reason to believe that it was actually done in the presence of her child. McCoy's father, which is Ricky Trooper, McCoy's father, described by the Jamaican publication The Gleaner as a veteran music selector. Ricky Trooper, he took to Instagram to mourn his daughter's death. In the ensuing days, Trooper shared a number of childhood photos of his daughter and he expressed support for efforts to catch Francis. Now, you can follow Ricky Trooper on on Instagram. I saw pictures of his daughter and they I don't know what to call it. Like when somebody passes away, then you do this get together, release of balloons and all the other stuff. People came out to support him. He's surrounded by people who genuinely care about people from both people from community, people from near and far, people from the musical fraternity, all that. They surrounded him. Even Mavado, dancehall artist icon Mavado posted, Mavado's post was like, this kill my friend daughter, and he was reminiscing. Mavado was talking about how he used to go up to Ricky Trooper's house to go record music, and the little girl was there. She was there as a little girl, so he watched her grow, and now to see her leave Earth like this. So, like I said before, Trooper is well connected from all angles, and it's because of the years he has done in the industry and the amount of places that he's gone, and just who he is. I'm buffering. Karen Notice says I'm buffering. If I'm buffering for anybody else, please tell me so I can stop talking, so I won't talk and buffer, and you can actually get to hear everything that I'm saying. Thanks, Karen. I thought it was me for a second. Well, we've been having. Yes, you are. Okay. So here's the explanation for that. So we have been having Stormy weather's here for a while, 2 days. Okay. Am I good now? Am I done buffer? Or as soon as I'm start talking, I go buffer again. Let me know. Let me know. Am I good? We're good. We're good. We're good. We can go on. Okay. All right. Yeah, so Ricky Trooper did put up stuff like, Ricky Trooper got a lot of people around him that support him and can help him through this time. All I'm saying is, man, he's strong. Any parent that lose their child is it's rough. It's rough on any parent because it's just not the natural cycle of life. That ain't how it's supposed to go. Especially losing your child so young. 23, 23. She was just stepping out into life. I mean, she was experienced, as in she's already a mother and all that other stuff. But if you think about it, she really hasn't. She was just getting there in life. She was getting 23 years old, and then to go that way, that's got to be painful for any parent to experience. Now, uh, Trooper posted "You're gone but not forgotten," and Trooper said that during a montage of photos of his daughter, said that her memories will live on. And on Monday, Ricky Trooper shared a picture of the wanted poster, edited to read that Francis had been apprehended, and it's right here. And that's from Ricky Trooper's own on Instagram. In custody, right? Francis was arrested in Cleveland, Ohio, in the suburbs, in a suburb called Sullen, by local police. And according to the police chief, investigators began pursuing Francis after he fled a car on foot during a traffic stop. So they were on him and they tried to pull over the car that he was riding in. And he ran out. He stopped the car, ran out of the car, and ran. And they ran after him, and they caught him, and they took him into custody. And he was charged by Ohio police with weapons offenses after a loaded firearm was found in the same car that he just ran from. Right. So I guess he make up his mind, say he was gonna shoot it out or something. I don't know, but he ran. He ran. It's funny how these guys kill and then they don't want to be killed or they don't want to lose their lives under those kind of circumstances. I don't know. I find it weird. I just think I always see like big murderers and big tough guys. They talk a lot of stuff out in the streets, And I always say this: everybody is tough until the police or soldiers come. Once police or soldiers show up, all that toughness goes out the window. I have never seen anybody tough after the police get there or tough after the soldiers get there, right? So same story here. He was really armed and dangerous. They found the loaded gun in the car. He was the only one in it. He stopped the car and run. Right. So he was arrested and they posted it on Facebook as well. And he is in custody on $3 million bond. And he will be charged with her murder. Listen, him gone. He ain't coming out no time soon. The part that killed me, though, was how the females were clowning. I mean, again, here we go. Texira Stingment joke. But they clowned him heavily just on his looks alone. Let me share you some of these comments. You know, we stay already, right? Let me share you some of these comments. Some people were saying, okay, y'all seen Ricky Trooper's daughter. She pretty, right? She a pretty girl. So anyway, hear him. Kobe 3456 says, "Boys, hairline going back in time." Me never too laugh because my hairline might be going back in time soon too. That happens as you age sometimes. I don't know. DDYK says, "Them ugly man ya, them always do them something ya. Like them ugly man here always get pretty girl. If them get a pretty girl, then we kill her if she try to leave them. So he was like out of his league, you know, and he probably couldn't believe him get a girl this pretty and a girl that's also connected to somebody that's that prominent. And then to end that relationship was like tragic for them. I'm not letting you go. If I can't have you, nobody else will. Kobe3455 says there needs to be an additional charge as well for having a effed up hairline. I don't know if y'all can see. They were ragging on his hairline most of all. Here, Rondine Baker photography now. Watch the germs, no? If you have a rumpin still in skin. Sig Sig876 says, what really are going with him hairline though? The police never apprehend that too. Another person, Makatree, says, one thing about US, they're not going to stop looking for you no matter how long it takes. And that's factual. Kimoy says, I'll know them can't find the one who killed the woman picnic and left the baby for dead in the hot car. And that's another one that happened in Florida not too long ago. I won't get into that one right now. Jamil, the actress, says he was jealous of her. This was a crime of passion thing. Y'all ladies better be careful out there. Only one says, old devil. Young ladies, please remember to get in relationships with men that you actually like and you actually want to be with. Money and vanity is not all. It's not worth your life. So, you know, there were talks out there that he holds a lot of money or he was making a lot of money in the streets, and that might have attracted Bree to him. She's affectionately called Bree to him. I don't know anything about that, so I wasn't going to mention that. And I feel like that was like adding insult to injury kind of thing. Now, if I knew about it and that was the real story, then I would talk about it indiscriminately. But because I don't know, and I'm reading these things off internet comments, and I know how the internet goes, like people just talk anything what them want to talk. I don't take some of those things seriously. But that's a strong message though, because a lot of young ladies do. Girl, him so ugly. One of her friends would be like, girl, seriously, that boy way below you really are gonna talk to him? And she'll be like, yeah, I know him ugly, right? Boy, me squint me eye and look on him. Him have whole heap of money, you know. Yeah, and him always buy me stuff and spend stuff on me and these things. So they get carried away pretty quick, blindsided by money. And like Jay-Z said, there's no such thing as an ugly billionaire. Well, these guys aren't billionaires, but I'll break it down like this. There ain't no such thing as an ugly guy that has a whole lot of money. For some reason, the more money you get is the more females think you're cute. Even when you're ugly, you know, you're cute. I mean, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. That's my own belief. And every or have them stick a bush. The person you call ugly, somebody else thinks they're drop dead gorgeous. I'm just saying. But you know, like him now, somebody could have probably be like, oh, look on him, look a buggy eye them. I like him big buggy eye them. Cause a girl used to tell me that, yo, your eyes look so wild. One lady said, your eyes look wild. I bet your sex is wild. You know, people say crazy stuff. So some girl probably I look on him and say, I just love him big forehead. Come here, forehead. And kiss him up on him forehead and thing. And him shell off couple hundreds gear and, you know, she gone shopping and she's happy. And then she'll tell her friend them how that's her cutie. You know, that's my cutie. That's my man. Don't be making fun of him. You know, that's my bug. And they're like, yeah, him look like a bug for real. She's like, I know, but he's cute. He's a cute bug. It's my cute bug. You know, that's how in the relationship good. And you have money, right? You're cute. That's my cute. But him favor roach. Yes, that's my beautiful roach. Him handsome to me. Don't be talking about him. Don't say nothing bad about him. So, ladies, one lady said, young ladies, please remember to go with somebody that you actually like and that you actually want to be with. Don't let the money be a motivating factor. Don't let his influence or whatever. Some girls do it because, yo, he's popular and everybody knows him and I could get into all the hot spots and all this. You know, whatever the case may be, you want to better make sure say I'm not that. See? Because then it come down to this. One day the money ain't going to be enough or the money might start dry up And then all you see is what everybody else been saying all along. You know, Sam really look like one roach. I want me to do with somebody like this though. Call me pretty. Then they start they start double checking themselves in the mirror now, right? Call me pretty. I want me to do with that boy. That boy look like one roach. And he might call you now, babes. And you're mad if you tell him how, yo, move your ugly self from around here. Cause money now run again. So the love ain't there no more. I couldn't looking at him. What? Wait. LAA says me couldn't look in him, give no in him, give none at all. Him face. Couldn't look in him face none at all. So no say. Somehow no have a man right now we look way worse than him. Alright. One next one say his father alone says he's guilty. Woo. DJ Loki says, yo, why this chick even dated that man that looked like this? Why this chick even dated a man will look like this? Tell the truth, people. A man look too bad. It doesn't matter now because I'm sure he ain't coming out of prison no time soon. I don't know what his excuse is for what he did, but I'm pretty sure they're about to bury him like under the jail. A tip was probably called in after he left the barbershop. A tip was probably called in after he left the barbershop. Somebody says, wow, a quick response police team swooped him up already. Boy, this could have never been Jamaica. Another one says, these pretty girls be with some man. You have to wonder. Yeah, but him treat me good and him make me laugh and all these things. You know, him funny. Him always have me a laugh. Me say me laugh till my belly hurt me. See, him just funny. That's why I love him. You know, whatever the case may be. I see it all the time. You know, Later Flames 5 says most cases when the police doing research on them, they find that they're in the system already. And the worst part is, you could say people can change. Most of the time, they don't. And you might just be the unlucky one to find out. We just have to be cautious and don't ignore the red flags, which is what a lot of people do. Man and woman. When relationships start, relationship nice. You ignore all the red flags, right? How she get mad so easy for no reason? She have anger issues, but you not say that. You start get pum pum already, and it's really good. So you're like, boy, me like when time we argue, and then we not talk to each other, and then when we make up, it's like beer fireworks, right? And bang, 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 bang. Oh, I miss you so much. I bite up each other and stuff. Yeah, all that stuff. The red flags, them you ignore them until it turned into some it turned into something where it's like, Jesus Christ, why am I living like this? Prince Girl says them need to find him barber. That hairline is a crime. Trooper want hold you for himself. And that me want you to know. My beer girl 5 says maybe she wasn't with him. Maybe he was probably antagonizing her, or probably he was a stalker and she was trying to get away from him because she don't want him because he's not her type, and that's what could have caused her death. Well, as far as I know, she has a child for him, at least a child, so she could have not want him so bad. Somebody said, watch your fuck ahead to know. Jamaica, you see how foreign police and murderers, see how foreign police find murderers and solve crime? Demand better, Jamaica, and expect more from the JCF. Big up to my JCF people, them. Jamaica Constabulary Force, all the good police, them. Not the dirty one, them, with upon people payroll and out here causing mayhem and mash up the place when they're supposed to be serving and protecting. Not true? Big up to the good one, them. Some people said there ain't no good ones, so flow. But anyhow, the boy got in a prison, man. So we're happy to hear that, right? I'll tell you what, I'll say one more thing about this before I go into the next topic. I'm an Old Testament person. Right? Somebody said that, Ricky Trooper said that on one of his lives. I didn't see the live. I'm not going to say somebody said something that I didn't hear them say. It's alleged. that he said, but I've been saying that on this platform for years now. I am an Old Testament person. I don't believe in turning the other cheek. I call myself, my middle name is Karma. I'm very calculating when it comes to revenge. I'm dead ass serious. I'm telling y'all this right now. I am very calculating when it comes to revenge. I'll let it slide for years. But you best believe I'm getting my lick back. I don't care who calls me petty. I don't care who says it's immature. You will never do me wrong in life and get away with it. If you did me something wrong, just know that I got you back, right? Something frigged up happened in your life somewhere and you're trying to figure out why this happened and who could have done this or whatever. I got you back. But I don't let nothing slide. I don't let nothing slide. And I'm not the type to, leave it in the hands of the Lord and leave it to, no, the Lord put strength in me. So me, I go handle it like I'm the Lord, right? The Lord can take over the rest later, but me, I go do what me, I go do to satisfy my soul first. Now, in a case like this, that is as extreme as this, I firmly believe in an eye for an eye. Matter of fact, hey, LAA says eye for an eye. Moses' law. Me say, yeah, me go way past that. An eye for your head. That's how I play, right? So you take out one of my eyes, I want your whole head. That's it. So no eye for an eye, really, but I'm not turning no cheek or nothing like that. Some of these things and some of these stuff that I see people doing to people and expecting them to, I hope they can forgive me one day and I hope their family can forgive me. Yeah, I'll forgive you, all right. I'll forgive you after your funeral. I'll forgive you after. I won't even go as far because I talked this talk before and people was like, you're crazy. Why would you go that far? What did his mom or his sister have to do with it or anything? Yeah, I'm all about reprisal. Yeah, so when you coming for mine, hide all of yours. Because if I can't catch you, I'm one of them. You can't catch Quaco, catch him shot. Now bun up something for you. Just like that. Live on the air with SoFlo. Good morning.
Yeah, manners and respect, so flow.
Manners and respect, family. What go on? Talk to
Well,
me
this Ricky Chupa thing, they hurt me bad in a soft flow, because Chupa is a person who I know personally, you know.
Saying.
When me that live in New York, and me and one of my brethren used to catch Chupa guard down. Every clash that we used to catch Chupa, we used to go pick up Chupa and catch Chupa guard. Every clash we end up with that.
Them time them
So,
up on Kilimanjaro.
No man, not on Kilimanjaro, on
Sound Trooper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every clash of go on in New York, we catch Chupa now and next youth in India. Catch Chupa got every clash.
Saying.
So you see that hurt me. So you see, if the police never catch him, he would want to get catch anyway.
But no.
I'm telling you something. You see, Chupa one of the nicest person to get to know him, brother. There's a soft side to Chupa in a youth.
Yeah, facts.
If you get to know Chupa one of the nicest person, brother. And then you see most of these women who they talk are true they don't get that person. You can't judge a person by his looks. Because especially most women don't love nowadays and most women love nowadays in the soft floor. Women love nowadays a lot based on what they can get. Material things, brethren.
Saying. So the look wouldn't even matter most of them.
The looks don't matter, brethren. Looks don't matter to women nowadays and what them can get. And most women don't do them background check when they look man nowadays. You get what I say? So all they can class that man, they can class that man all they want. You know? But all they know is they're glad that them holding, you know. But him still not gonna get wall.
Yeah.
He gonna get double wall, brother.
Facts.
Yeah, man.
Me not say too much, you know, but you people like you can read between the lines. You don't know what me I say already.
I mean, man, because my yo, Chupa, you see Chupa, 3 days ago, you know, Chupa, a cool youth, my youth, you know, see. You know, see, so, you know, my condolence go to him steady still, you know, see, because I'm gonna reach out to every day still and know, say, I love, you know.
Yeah. All this a boy, you know, film hell just start, you know.
How are you, man?
Female just start. Bree gone, but female just beginning, my friend. See it?
But Mr. Man believe in it, can't catch. Me don't believe in it, Quacker can't catch shots still now. Me have to catch him shots. Me don't want to catch, me don't catch Quacker catch shots. No, me don't believe in that.
Saying.
No.
Saying. I might think that still.
But tonight, yeah, man, for real, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
man,
my
bless
lord.
up
All
here,
right.
sir.
Manners and respect here, sir.
All right, sir.
All right. Yeah, see that? Holding with handlings. I saw. Yeah, like you said, most women, not all. Yeah, most women. But that's why they end up with that. That's why I did that long skit just now. Yeah, he's so cute. And your friends are like, girl, he ugly as hell. What you see on him? What? Show me what it is. And she's like, man, he be having me laughing. I be cracking up. He is so generous. He always remembers to buy me flowers. It's the qualities that a lot of women look for mostly, though. She look like if he can provide the things that she needs, not just material things, but also other ways, like he's that soft shoulder to cry on, he's that person that listens, he actually cares, he this, he that. A woman could get caught up. Women are emotional creatures or emotional beings, so it ain't hard to sucker her in with just going down the line. A lot of men do it. A lot of men find out what your angle is as a woman, and come on, even Vibes Cartel used to make song about tricker and tricker scammer and get some, and then because you don't really have to care, you just gotta pretend that you care long enough. The problem is y'all be looking past them red flags, and until it comes back to hurt you. And a lot of the times in a relationship, it's the woman that gets hurt, not really the man, as we can see. Cause I don't hear too much story about woman that kill a man. I've heard, as long as I've been on here doing this platform, I've only heard that story in 7 years, going on 8 years. I've heard that story about 3 times or 2 times happening. The woman takes the life of the man. One was in Jamaica not too long ago out of jealousy. She came there and the guy was getting his hair braided. Kind they have woolly pa hair out so, and he used to get him hair braid down. And he had this girl that's a hairdresser that she knows is a hairdresser, made a house call, and she was over there braiding his hair. And she walked in. What she a do ya? Who this? Why is she in here? Big knife, stab him in his chest. One stab, and it hit fatal part, and he died. Stuff like that. But we don't hear too much of the other way around. I don't know if it's because, men just don't speak because it's embarrassing to be abused by a woman. And, people in society usually say stuff like, you a grown-ass man, you big and strong. Get your ass up and leave. Why you over here complaining? Oh, she's beating me. Shut up. Nobody want to hear that from you. That's how society looks at it. But man out there take beating too. Man out there taking beating too. Man out there taking whole heap of abuse. Verbal abuse, physical abuse. Some man get fling out and take back like yo-yo every time, when you draw the yo-yo, so I fling it out and draw it back and fling it out and draw. There's somebody's yo-yo and she's laughing and having a field day about it. There are men out there that are going through hell too. But we hear more about from the female side because it happens so often. And especially within our culture. I don't know what's going on with our men. I think some of these men are like extremely emotional for some reason or another. Maybe it's childhood trauma. Maybe it's like the guy who called in to say his how he was raised. Him said my daddy gone left me. Me don't know who my father is. Or me see him about 1 time or 2 time when me did little. So them leave me with my granny and my auntie them and my mother. And I was the only boy in the house. And him said, so floor, yo, them beat me, man. Them beat me wicked, Them used to beat me with anything with them catching up. And the last go. But him a 40-something years old, so what last go? And him no baby, him no like 20, young 20s where could have come off Alaska. Them man they come off a milk powder. And which Alaska? Them man they come off a no Alaska. Them man they come off a porridge. A porridge we used to get about Alaska. And when we get like older, I used to go primary school now, basic school, and them thing that them used to give you. They used to hand out stuff in Jamaica. Them used to give away. Milk powder. Who remembers milk powder? We used to go mix the milk powder with sugar. Cause me never need the milk powder. I come from a farming community, so we used to have cows, and my grandfather used to go milk cow every morning, and we get fresh milk straight from the cow. But we used to still take the milk powder from school that they would give out because it was for those who didn't have at home. They would give you a bag of sugar, a bag of milk powder, a bag of something. We used to stop a road and mix sugar with the milk powder, and eat it just so. And it'll choke you out the road there. I have to clean off yourself before you reach home because I can't make Miss Ruby them know say I stop up a shop and yam out milk powder and sugar and these things. But them man they come off of milk powder, them not come off of no Lasco. But there's something going on though among the men. They're extremely emotional, and their emotions lead to. See, it's one thing to be emotional, right? You're human, and we have this false perception of women alone is supposed to be emotional. Men can't get emotional too. You're human. A man experiences all the same emotions that a woman does. A man also requires all the same things in a relationship that a woman does, right? Except for cocky. Well, in that for them, this are earlier gone different now. But I thought man and woman, monogamous relationship, heterosexual relationship, he requires the same things that the woman does, right? Oh, I want somebody that encourages me and is nurturing to me and uplifts me and tells me I'm beautiful and this, that, and the other. Man require those things too. When they're hurt, they're emotional, just like how women get emotional too, right? Um, However, when your emotions lead to violence all the time, like that's not normal. That's not normal. And there's a large number of our men. Come, I grew up, I see it. I grew up seeing it. I grew up seeing women running, take off down the street, no clothes on, bolt out our house. All you hear is one loud ah! Down the street, panty alone, brazier alone, or something like that. So these guys get really emotional real quick and then get violent right behind it. I don't know. I don't know. But some people end up fixing themselves and some people don't, everybody came to play their role. It's sad that she went out like that though. But I'm glad that he is in friggin' custody. And like the caller said though, if he wasn't in custody, trust me, it wasn't good out here for him on the streets anyways. He was gonna get got regardless. Believe me, he was gonna get got regardless. Dorothy T, true man, love give bun and can't take it. You're supposed to tell yourself that you're beautiful and loved. Karen Notice says, yeah, it ain't about you telling yourself though. You can tell yourself anything, and like I said before, if you're a grown person and you're in a relationship and you don't think that it's your duty if you don't think that it's your duty to make sure that your partner is secured with you, or to reassure your partner security, if you're the type of person that goes, you insecure, you got to make yourself secured. Yeah, that's true to a level, but it's also your duty to reinforce as a partner. It's also your duty to reinsure and to ensure, right, that you and your partner, if their partner is having doubts, you're there. Let them know that, hey, there's nobody out here for me but you. You understand? Like, I'm not saying spend every day doing that because you're with somebody that is so insecure, but reciprocate. Reciprocate. That's the word. So if you have one of those people that do all that for you, then you need to know that you need to do that for them too, kind of thing. People stay in relationships and they give a lot that they don't get back. And that's when your relationship starts getting ugly because you eventually will realize that I'm pouring in. I got nothing left to pour in. And this person ain't pouring a drop back into me, you know? This person ain't pouring a drop back into me, but that's that. Oh, the red flags are there, man. You just got to pay attention to the red flags. And we all do it. We're all guilty of ignoring red flags at some point and then finding out later. Ain't nobody here that's with their first love still or second love still. Although most I don't know, some I don't know the problem. But you will go on telling yourself after you're with number 99 that you're still not the problem. And everybody else who's came and left were the problems. Cup empty. Nothing else to pour. Audrey Wright says, I am. You're still with your first love, the first person you ever dated, the first person you ever got intimate with. You're still with that first person. You not live on earth. Okay, let me get personal real quick. Audrey Wright, you probably don't want to tell us, but give me a ballpark figure of how long you guys been together. I can match up the rest for myself. I want to say something. How long y'all been together? Give me in years. I want to see something. 33 years and counting. Okay. Well, boy, to him, hang on, brother. Cause that not normal. Hang on, cause that not normal. Yeah. 99.9% of the people that are here, they not with their first love or their first a lot of people here too. I'm not pointing no finger because I don't know you like that. Some people here are on to number 50, on to number 35, on to number 20, on to number 15, on to number 10, but they're not with that first. And that's just life. That's how life goes, right? Anyhow, ladies, because y'all always end up being the victims, some of you stick around, and I've talked about this before. This does not apply to their relationship because I don't know the dynamics of her and him. But in general, because it almost always ends up being bad for you, I always say this. When you see certain things, leave. Don't try to refix it. Don't try to tell yourself. Because some of y'all know. Some of y'all know. You have a man that will strangle the daylights out of you till you can't breathe. And then you got to beg. And then y'all go mad for each other. And then, mad to each other. And then make up. And then come back together. And him beat you under quiet. And you have to put on makeup over your black eye. And him thump you in the back of your head. Because if it swell up, that's so nobody can see it. Some of y'all know. Y'all know the kind of men you're with. And some of you stay there and provoke this kind of man. Instead of you leave, you stay there and provoke this kind of man until it ends up being, that girl I don't believe somebody will kill her or what? And then bang, you dead. All right? I don't know if some women have a death wish, but I've seen that happen a lot of times. Same story, may I tell you again, because it's the most recent one that I saw, whereas the guy had the machete and the woman was just there talking stuff and just selling out. And up under your mother and suck out your this and people were encouraging her and laughing. And the man kept telling her to go on. Me not go on nowhere. You can't do me nothing. Big pussy, this, that. That's how she was handling him, right? And then the blade starts to swing. And you could see the shock on her face. She was like, I chop me. I cut me. Y'all stay around too long when you know. Some people, like, they want that in their life. You know what I'm saying? Don't do that. Don't do that. Some women actually really feel like if you don't argue with me and the argument doesn't get intense, if him not drape me up every now and then they play this dangerous game. Yeah, him can drape me up, but me don't want him lick me. Well, usually, my girl, a man will drape you up is a man who will lick you because man drape you and then next thing come lick, right? Very few have self-control enough to drape and don't lick. But if you're the kind of person where you feel like you need to be handled to feel loved, I guess that's what they mean when they say, he can't handle me. You're not an animal. You're not supposed. We handle animals. Live on the air with SoFlo. Good morning.
Hi, good night from Australia. How are you doing?
I'm good. How you doing? From
I'm
Australia.
well. Yeah,
Oh,
I
it's
just
nighttime?
wanted when you were talking about relationships and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Just, I think like in the planet, like guys and men, the best men.
Bad girl. You don't want no man
Yeah.
choke you up on these things, right? I'm talking in context.
What?
Like
Mm,
argument. You don't want no man argue with you and then choke you up and slap you up and kick you down in these things, right?
of course not. Of course not.
Okay. So as you see any signs of that you're supposed to run, like get away.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. All right. I'm just
Mm.
checking. I'm just checking to make sure you. So you gotta look out for the red flags and save yourself.
Yes, that's right. But I was just like, I think last time I called, we were talking about like polygamy or something different topic,
Right. Right.
But I just like heard you talking about relationships, and I just wanted to quickly say, guys and men are the best men. Guys and men are the king. Positive note. Positive note.
All right. Big up yourself for that.
All right. Big up, Sofa. Bye.
All right. Yeah. Hey. All right. Listen, we beat this one to death, right? There's a serious topic here that I want to get into, though. Again, my condolences to Ricky Trooper and what he's going through right now. I don't wish that on anybody. I'm a parent myself, and I'm crazy about my kids. So I would handle this type of stuff kind of weird. I wish them thing for nobody. Anyhow, let's talk about this situation. This young man, this teenager who knocks on a door and gets gunned down. Let's have this conversation now again about the question I asked a few days ago. You feel safer here or in Jamaica? I can tell you this, and I said it before, I'm going to say it again. When I'm in Jamaica, certain things I don't worry about. Yes, we have things that I do worry about, but certain things I don't have to worry about it. I'm not afraid when I'm in Jamaica and police are pull me over. All when you tell me about gunman, police, and yo so flow. And the police them I do enough of the killing them around here, because them kill for them gang friend them and this and that and them depend contract and all that. Some of them are gangsters, some of them are drug dealers, some of them are this. We got a lot of rogue police officers on the island. Okay, I hear that, right? But I tell you what, I've never had any one of them pull me over and my heart start beating out my chest because I know this might go wrong very quickly if I ask a question. What am I being pulled over for? I know I'm not going to get talked to like I'm not a person. I know I'm not going to get disrespected straight off the bat because of my, and I've never had to worry about that. Now, in a time like this, stuff like this bothers me because I have teenage kids. I have teenage kids that are growing up right here. So my kids, and I'll tell you something that's very personal. My kids are I think my kids are actually overprotected. I was just having this conversation with my mom Sunday. Big up to my mom. I went by her house and pick up a whole pot of gongo soup. But that's a whole nother story. So anyway, I'm going to pick up my soup. Big pot of soup. Mommy give me the whole pot. Right? I put it in the truck. I come back. We talking. And she's telling me how, because she be circling my kids like how I circle them. See? So she's like, yo, one day I was driving down by the kids' school and I saw it was raining heavy. And I saw the two boys, which is Jaden and Kosi, they were walking in the rain. Jaden plays football now. Kosi always played football. Jay was playing basketball before, and they have training after school. And my mom was telling me that they're walking in the rain and they were wet and she didn't like that and all this kind of stuff. So I'm reminding her now, look how long it took me. I want you to pay attention to this. Look how long it took me as a father to say, I'm not picking them up from school. They have to walk home from school. Because when I was growing up in Miami, I was way younger than they were when I was walking from school, and my school was farther from my house than their school is. Their school's around the corner from where they live now. And I used to go pick them up every day. I coordinate, make sure that somebody is always there to pick them up. And then now they're like 14, 15, 16, 16, and you're still getting dropped off and picked up. It's not because I didn't do that because I want them to be sheltered. I didn't do that because I want them to be sheltered. I did that because I'm scared. I did that because as a parent of black boys, I am friggin' terrified, right? And that's why I did it. It is recently now I just had them start walking home. And I tell you, man, every single day, because there's different dynamics to my story. For instance, if they don't do good in school, I take away stuff from them, right? I take away their cell phones because they're addicted to their cell phones. So I take away their cell phones and I'll keep the cell phones for a couple of days. Now, when I keep the cell phone for a couple of days, they're walking home from school. They don't have any phones. I said, you know what? I'm trying to have you feel how I grew up. I didn't have no phones. We didn't have phones. Our parents, I guess, set a prayer and hope that we made it home safe. And I'm like, you guys are old enough now. The real reason I stopped picking them up really is because they're old enough to get their license. In the state of Florida, you can get your learner's permit at 14, 15, 16, you can get your regular driver's license here. Right? Jaden just turned 16, Kosi just turned 15, and I have a vehicle waiting for them. I'm like, come and take the vehicle. Get your license and take the vehicle. They go home every day. I guess they're tired from practice in school. They just veg out on their device or do whatever. They're not doing the courses to come take the damn vehicle. So, because I never planned for them to be walking anywhere. So I said, you know what? You guys get too much. So I'm going to start taking some stuff back and hopefully it will motivate you. Oh, no, I don't want to walk every day. So, Jaden, let's hurry up and get our license so we could go take the truck from dad. Then we'll have our own vehicle. That's what I want to hear from them. They're getting to it slow. Like they don't even really care to have the vehicle. But I'm worried. And I'm worried because if anything happens out there to my kids and then they decide to go knock on a door and ask for help, could you imagine that response? Somebody opens a door and shoots you because you're black and you knocked on my door. It's like, how dare you come on my property? How dare you knock on my door? It's weird out here. So now I have children who are about to get driver's license, and I'm a grown man, and I've done a number of years in the Army. I'm built kind of different, and I still have issues with driving as a black man. And every time I see police, I'm like, if I get pulled over, there's a certain set of rules or certain unspoken rules or certain way that I have to be in order to make sure that I walk away from that simple traffic stop still alive. Now I got to teach my boys this same set of how to be, how to act, how to present yourself if you come in contact with. So they're going to be driving. I'm worried about police pulling them over and things going wrong. They're going to be walking and they're walking. And I'm thinking, damn, if anything happens and they go knock on a door and somebody pulls out a gun and starts gunning my kids down because they're knocking on your door to ask for help. In Jamaica, I don't have to worry about none of that stuff. I don't. And I don't know any Jamaicans that have to worry about that. Right? Somebody say it's a gun pandemic in America. It ain't no gun pandemic. It's not no gun pandemic. That is racism pandemic. There ain't no gun pandemic. That man doesn't open his door and shoot anybody that comes to the door. It's not a gun pandemic. Listen, I'm all for guns. I'm all for everybody having a gun. As long as you don't have a criminal record, you haven't demonstrated to the government that you are a criminal, especially those who are like long rap sheets. You do this stuff over and over. That just shows me that you would probably always have criminal intentions, right? You've proven it by your record. I don't want to see you with a gun. Everybody else, I think, should. Now, of course, we could factor in certain things need to be done, like a mental health screening could be added to getting a weapon, which I think should be done. Florida, Debafalo Sodares says, isn't Florida about to allow open carry? No. Florida has just passed a law to allow concealed carry without a permit. So I covered this recently, so let me run this over again. So they passed a law to allow everybody here to carry if you want to carry, right? You no longer need a permit. So how that's going to work out is this. If you're a normal law-abiding tax-paying citizen, you just don't have time to go through the whole process to go get the ID that says you can carry. It will help you in an event that, say, for instance, you'll get stop and frisk or you're pulled over and the police, for some reason, decides they want to search you. If you get found with a weapon now, they can't do anything to you. Whereas before, they could be like, well, do you have a permit to carry this? You got it concealed under your shirt. Do you have a permit to carry it? You got it hidden in your glove compartment. Do you have a permit to carry it? Now you can say, they won't even ask you if you have a permit to carry it now because it's a law now that you don't need a permit to carry it. But for the people who have a permit, like myself, that permit still goes a long way. For instance, all the other southern states have linked up, and even states up north have linked up to recognize your ID. So I can pretty much, if I'm going on a road trip with the family, I can stay packing the whole road trip. Before, it used to be if you don't have a permit from Georgia, you can't carry in Georgia. So you couldn't be in Georgia carrying and pull out a Florida permit and show the police you're carrying an illegal weapon. So they changed all that. So now I can slide through, right through, well armed and protected. So I would still say go get your permit. But I don't think it's a gun epidemic that's causing this. I think it's a racism epidemic that's causing this. And we have to say it for what it is. You know, let's not blame the gun. Let's blame these people that are having these guns. My cousin in Florida have a gun range at her house. They're serious about their guns in Texas. At her house. How does that work? Or she probably lives out in the boondocks. She lives out in the boondocks. I know people in Georgia that have that, but it's not really a gun range. It's just a lot of land, and you can go out there and just let the AK-47 rip or let the AR-15 rip out there. Anyways, a man is now facing felony charges in the shooting of this teenager. You know, let me say something, right? When I looked at the teen that got shot, this kid wasn't even about it. Like, this kid, out of everybody that could have got shot, right? This kid is a gifted kid. He's a gifted kid, right? He's honor roll student. He is a section band leader, plays an instrument. He is almost always seen with his instrument. Even the way he dresses does not fit where stereotypically someone could say, you could see it in him. He from the hood, or he from some rough community, or he's trying to emulate or trying to act like. The kid looks completely different, or all he is free of all stereotypes. He looks completely different than anything you would expect. He's basically, let's be for real, one of them kids that you would call nerdy. He was following his mama's command. His mom told him to go pick up his twin brothers. He has twin brothers, smaller siblings. He went to go pick up his smaller siblings. I did a complete video on my other channel about this, so the information is like fresh in my head. His mom said to go to 115 Terrace and gave him a house number on 115 Terrace. He went to 115th Street. Terraces usually run next to streets. So you have 115 Terrace, then you have 115th Street, right? I grew up in Miami. In Miami, that's how it is. Terrace and streets run concurrently. He probably wasn't listening, probably didn't hear properly, probably forgot. And he saw 115, and he was like, yeah, I'm there. And he went to the wrong door, one street over from where he was supposed to pick up his smaller siblings. And he rang the doorbell, thinking that's where his siblings were, being taken care of. And, okay, older brother is coming to pick you up, take you home now. And the man opens the door and shoots him. Crazy. Kansas City. Clay County prosecutor Zachary Thompson said on Monday that the man that is accused of shooting the 16-year-old last Thursday in Kansas City now faces 2 felony charges. So they finally did 2 things. They finally charged him, and they finally released his identity. The minute they said the story and they did not release his identity, I already knew that it was an old white man. Because that's how the news does. The news usually, if you ever watch this, if you ever see a report come across and then you hear the reporter say, yeah, man's wanted for shooting on 137th Street, something, gunned down 2 officers. We have a very good idea of the description of the individual, blah, blah, blah. On to the next story. It's because it wasn't black. Because if he was black, they would have said all that. So following the story, this is where we're at. He is finally, after people started gathering up on the streets in big numbers, and the numbers are growing, hundreds of people showed up the first day, and the numbers are growing on their street. Now his identity is released to the public, and now he's facing 2 felony charges. 85 years old. 85-year-old Andrew Lester is charged with assault and with armed criminal action. What is that? This was more like attempted murder. So already they've lessened his charges. Police said that on Thursday, 16-year-old Ralph Yarl, he went to pick up his siblings from a house on the 1100 block of Northeast 115th Terrace. Instead, he ended up at Northeast 115th Street. That was the discrepancy. After knocking on the door, he was shot. Thompson said, according to the probable cause affidavit, that Lester, which is the 85-year-old man, he fired twice through the glass door. Yo, the man he didn't even open his door. Little man rang the bell twice, and he fired straight through the glass, striking the 16-year-old twice, once in the head and once in his arm. The 16-year-old was able to get up and run for help, even after being shot in the head. The weapon used was a .32 revolver. Thompson said that there was a racial component to the case. Lester is a white man, and Yarl is a young black man. The prosecutor said that the suspect still faces a Class A felony, which is the highest felony in the state of Missouri. And in the state of Missouri, hate crimes can be E or D felonies, which carry them to a lower range of punishment than what the defendant is currently charged with. So there you have it. They already lowered his charges. The Clay County prosecutor said that the assault carries a punishment of 10 to 30 years behind bars. The criminal action charge carries a punishment of 3 to 15 years behind bars. You know they're going to go for the 3 to 15. You know he probably won't even do 3. When asked why Lester wasn't arrested the night of the shooting and why did it take so long to arrest him and actually charge him, Thompson said that the police were just following the law. That's all we were doing. We were following the law. In Missouri, this is a week later, right? We were following the law. In Missouri, charges have been to be charged within 24 hours of, or I don't know who wrote this. So charges have been to be charged within 24 hours of arrest. Okay, that's what the law says there. The law says there within 24 hours, you can only hold somebody for 24 hours. After that, you have to either charge them or let them go. Because the young man was in the hospital, they couldn't get his side of the story. So 24 hours rolled by, they had to let this man go, and then they had to go do their investigation. And now, based on their investigations, he's now charged and he is now in custody. At the time of the incident, he said he was arrested. Now his bond is currently set at $200,000, which he'll pay a fraction of because that's how bond goes, and he'll be up out of there in no time. Family members said that the 16-year-old was released from the hospital on Monday afternoon, and he is at home recovering already, even after being shot in the head. Wow. Listen, man. If you out here raising kids in this great USA and you're not scared, I don't know what to tell you. I'm afraid. I'm afraid. This young man, just look at it. You could just look at him. First of all, here's the guy that did it. This is the guy that did it. That's the shooter. I am shooting liquor boy. He has glass front doors or glass on his front door, just like at my house. I have glass on my front door. The middle of my door is glass. And straight through. I see who's outside. He has one of those. His doorbell got rang. He seen who was ringing the doorbell. He grabs his gun and fires 2 shots through the glass. Now here's, there you go. Nicola Coleman said it. Nicola Coleman, he's 85 years old, right? You know what his defense could be? His defense could be dementia, Alzheimer's. He's not too stable. He was scared. He was hallucinating. He had just took his medication. He actually thought the person was standing on the other side. It's called figure ground in OT world. It's called figure ground. So if there's a glass right here and I'm standing behind the glass, some people's eye condition, if they look at me standing in front of like a clear glass cutout right here, they won't be able to tell if I'm standing in front of it and it's behind me or if I'm standing behind it and it's in front of me. You understand? A good lawyer is going to go into court and is going to say pretty much almost everything I just said. He has visual issues. When he saw the person, he thought the person was standing in his living room as opposed to standing behind the glass on his front porch. He grabbed his gun and he fired twice. He has a touch of Alzheimer's, a touch of dementia. He didn't miss a shot, though. And they will argue that, too. You could have Alzheimer's and dementia and not miss a shot. Stuff that they did repeatedly, repetitively, and it's trained to become second nature. They don't normally forget that stuff. So you can just do it without even thinking. How do you explain the doorbell ring? Cinnamon told Cinnamon that's a good one, but they're probably going to say he didn't hear the doorbell ring. All he did was look up and he saw a figure standing in his living room, and he was threatened because he thought it was a black man standing in his living room on this side of the door as opposed to on the outside of the door. It would fly. It would fly. But that's him. And then you take a look at the young man. And I'm like, wow, not to say I don't want to be stereotypical, but let's talk raw. If this was one of those pants off your ass, Ebonics only, little troublemakers, it probably would have sit differently. But this kid is all of nerdy. He's every bit of nerdy. And I'm not saying that to say it in a bad way. I'm just saying that to say he is every bit of nerdy. You could tell he wasn't there to be any kind of harm to anyone. He some people you could just look at and just tell, like, you not that type and you not that person and you not about that. He's one of those. He's clutching his thing. Let me show you. And I've seen many other pictures of him as well, like on social media, on his Facebook. So there he is. If I'm not mistaken, because I used to play the trombone, that's a clarinet, right? So he plays the clarinet. He's a section leader for his school band. He dresses this way a lot, like suits and stuff like. Sometimes you have some of these little kids that feel like they just dress a certain way already. Put a tie on, they want to be in a jacket. They see themselves going somewhere already. They feel like they could dress the part already. That's an alto clarinet, the Buffalo Soldiers. Thank you. Cinnamon says the defense will try to paint a thug picture of that little boy, I bet, which is what they always do. They always do it. They're about to dig his past, try to find anything they could find. Live on the air with SoFlo. Good morning.
Hey, morning, SoFlo.
Good morning, fam. How you doing?
Yeah, man, I'm here, man. It's not about that case, bro, about that other kid, but I'm trying to figure out.
I'm sorry.
It's like with the case Now, I'm trying to figure out about the case in Alabama, where that 15-year-old kid gets 65 years in jail because they broke into a house and the neighbor called the police and they ran. And the police shot his friend, killed him, and blamed him that he is the cause for them to kill this friend. And he gets 65 years in jail for that.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up because, for one, the organization that's fighting for that guy's freedom, I follow them on Instagram, right? And I've exchanged words with the ladies that run it. However, I didn't put too much support behind it now because they were committing a crime.
That's the only thing. They will commit a crime. I understand that. Yeah. But that's not justification right here. You understand?
What's not justification?
For him to shoot the kid in his back and blaming the other person for him to kill that person.
Right. Well,
That is what I'm looking at.
Right. And that's the law, my friend. The law says this, right? If me and you are committing a crime, right? If me and you go as buddies and we're committing a crime, if you end up dying in the process of us committing that crime, I'm charged with murder. I'm charged with your death, even though I didn't kill you. Right? And now knowing that that's the law, I mean, they were committing. I don't know if you've ever had. Listen, have you ever had your place broken into?
Yes.
Okay, it's a feeling I can't even describe. You're violated, and not only are you violated, you're insecure in that place forever. Like no matter how much security stuff you put up around that place after that, you will never feel safe in that place again. Right?
So when my apartment broke into so close, I went to the hardware and I buy 7 machete. Every window, every door have a machete. Even my closet have a machete.
A machete?
Yes, man, I buy a machete. Every window, every door have a machete stick up behind it.
Okay, so you got to understand the psychological damage that people do to people when you do stuff like break into their house. Now, I know that they're young. But a similar case happened in Florida, and this one was caught on video. And it was 3 or 4 boys that went into this house, but the people had surveillance system all throughout the house. So while they were in there, right, they were searching up everything. They were taking what they wanted to take, went through the lady's jewelry box and everything. The lady so happened to be at work, and she checked her security system from work, and she saw them in her house. Guess what she did? She locked down the whole house like this. And all the shutters started coming down, locking down. I think one of them ran and got out, and the rest of them were in there begging, like, please, please. I think you need to look up how many years they got. I think they got like 50-something years.
Okay.
I think they got like 50-something years.
Okay, what's the flip side now? So why didn't they charge the white police officer with the other 5 black officers who killed that black guy?
But you're talking about the shooting, the same incident you brought up?
No. The 5 officers who killed the black man the other day. And
you just went to another story that I'm not familiar with.
So no, I'm just trying to show you something. There was another officer who was there, was not charged, and he was there when the incident happened.
Right, but he didn't take part in the beating, right?
But he was there?
Yeah, but he didn't take part in the beating, right?
No, he didn't take part in the beating.
Okay.
But he was there. I think he did something. Yes, he did something, but they did not charge him.
He was charged. He was charged later on, but they made a big stink about it for a while because he wasn't charged at first, but he was charged later on.
He was charged. Yeah, he was charged later, but he wasn't charged right away when the other was charged.
Right. So after protest and making a big stink about it, he was eventually charged. But he didn't take part in the beating. I know what you're trying to say, but let me say it like this, right? We must always raise our children to know this, that the playing field is not leveled. So the things that their children can do and get away with, you will be seen as an adult that's doing a crime, period. They won't be lenient with you. They won't look at you and say, well, he's just 15, and maybe he was following bad company and all that. You got to let your kids notice, like, hey, man, if they catch you, they're straight up treating you like an adult, okay? And don't think that your little white friend.
It's sad, man.
Yeah, but it is what it is. It is what it is.
It is what it is, man.
Right. So don't be out here breaking in people's houses because you could end up doing 65 years in prison for it. End of story.
Yeah. Yep, that's true.
Right. And I know they're fighting for his freedom, trying to get him home. I think he's going to get his time reduced. That's the last thing I saw. That he was going to get his time reduced. I wish him all the best, right? He thought in his 15-year-old mind that he was going to get away and his friend was going to get away, but the police officer shoot his friend and then blamed it on him, which is how the law allows them to do that. Yeah, the law allows them to do that. That's how the law is set up. So the rest of us now could just tell our kids, like, yo, listen, that see, here's an example right here. All right. So if you and him go do anything stupid and they end up killing him, they're gonna put the blame on you for it. You're going down for murder.
Right.
Let it be an
Wow, it's
example.
sad, man.
It's sad. It's sad, but I didn't say much about it because he shouldn't have been breaking in people's houses.
That's the only thing. That's the only thing because it could be my house you broken into.
Exactly.
And if you come into my house, I'm gonna pop off. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Let me show you some. Let me show you something simple. Saturday Soflo. I was upstairs in my apartment. I have a bike that I rode in around the park. It was on my porch.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a guy come through my gate, come in up on the stairs right there. And, and I'm like, I put my feet and I push it through the window and I said, can I help you, sir? I put it through the window and I let him see it and I said, can I help you? And he back up and said, sir, I'm just off in that direction. I said, you don't open a man's gate. I said, do you know me?
Wait.
No, I said, you don't open a man's gate.
He opened your gate?
He opened my gate and said he's asking for direction. My bike is on my porch.
No, I'll tell you something, right? Just to put you on in a safe space, right? If that man opened your gate and you had shot him, you would be in jail. I'm looking forward to trial because it's not justified. It's not justifiable.
Maybe.
Listen, I go and I take the courses, the safety courses, the know the law courses. I'm gonna repeat this again. The last time I went, they had scenarios broken down. The instructor asked me specifically, he said, a guy, your neighbor, is shouting from over in his yard. The neighbor says, I'm gonna fucking kill you. Your dog always shitting on my lawn, blah, blah, blah. And then the neighbor starts to walk over to you. He's asking me this. He says the neighbor walks over to you. He walks across your grass. There you are taking your groceries out of the trunk of your car. And he's in your driveway now, right next to you. And he's cursing you. And he's saying, I'm gonna fucking kill you. I'm gonna this, that. And you pull out your firearm and you shoot him. Is it justified? Mm-hmm. And I said, yes, he's on my lawn. He came over here threatening. I heard I'm going to kill you. He said, nope, you would be going to jail. He gave another scenario. He said, you look out your window, you see a strange guy in your backyard. Your yard's fenced in. Mm-hmm. You see a strange guy in your backyard in the nighttime. You shoot. Mm-hmm. Is it going to be justified? I said, yes. He said, nope, you're going to jail.
There's a similar situation happened a couple years ago with a Jamaican guy who moved from Florida to New York. Mm-hmm. He was in the army. He had a licensed gun, but his license never transferred over from Florida to New York yet. He lived in Connecticut, mm-hmm. and a guy broke into his house. In his basement, he and his kids was there, and he shot the guy, and they did arrest him.
Yeah, because for one, he has the gun in New York. New York don't recognize your license.
Nope.
Right.
Nope.
Yes, brother. So be careful with that. Man, open my gate and I pull out my gun kind of thing, because I'm telling you, you will end up in shackles and chains really quickly. I'm going to
talk to my instructor Saturday. When I go to class Saturday, I'm going to speak to my instructor about it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm going to speak to my instructor about it.
All right.
All right, man. Blessed.
All right, blessed. All right, listen. I see a couple of questions, right? How about standing your ground? It seems like you are in fear. Yeah, they're going to ask you in fear of what, right? So you're going to be under arrest. You're going to have to go to court. You're putting yourself in a situation where you can possibly lose a court case and go to prison for a lengthy period of time. If that stand your ground stuff doesn't fly for you, so you want to think about what you're doing before you actually do it. It's not so easy as people think. I have a licensed firearm, So if you approach me on my property, I can kill you and I'm not going to jail. That it's not black and white. It's not 1, 2, and 3. There's a lot of gray areas in it, and it's important for you to know the law before you do all that stuff, right? Stand your ground is not in every state as well. Cinnamon Toast Cinnamon says, and that's absolutely true. It's a Florida thing. You have to not only be in danger, King Biggs, you have to, the way it is explained in the safety class, you have to be in imminent danger, meaning you have to see where you are going to be maimed for life or dead. This interaction that's about to go down right now is going to leave me with no eyes or losing my sight, or a part of my head's going to be missing. I'm going into a coma for sure, or I'm going to die. Or it's either you're going to be maimed or you're going to be dead. If that's not what it was. Now, if the neighbor was coming over to the yard in that scenario with a knife in his hand and I gunned him down, I would be good. But the neighbor is just coming over there pointing and saying, I'm going to kill your ass. Your dog always shitting on my lawn. You need to clean this stuff up. It's nasty. I keep complaining to you. You're not doing anything about it. That's all the neighbor was doing. The neighbor didn't lift the shirt up and show you a gun. The neighbor wasn't reaching in his pockets trying to pull out something. The neighbor wasn't doing anything. Now, that's kind of tricky because if you think about your life, you're thinking about seconds to decide, right? So I don't know if you're approaching me like this. If you don't have something tucked and you're about to wait till you get close enough to suddenly just pull it out and use it on me, I don't know. So I fired because I was scared. Now, when you go to court, you have to remember to say he kept reaching under his shirt, because if that ain't a part of your story, he kept reaching under his shirt and he was approaching me at fast speed. Like I thought he was pulling something out. I saw his hand come halfway up out the shirt and I raised up and fired. If that ain't your story, you going to jail. That's how it is. But as far as this young man that got shot, when I tell you they couldn't have done it to a these are the kind of pictures they're going to find of this young man, okay? He's either in band practice, or he's at some educational conference, or he's in a science lab, or he is with some person that has to do with music or education. That's all his pictures. That's all. The average teenager that's his age, they have pictures throwing up signs and showing money, or, none of his pictures are like that. So, yeah, to the person who says they're going to try to, I think it was Cinnamon Toast Cinnamon said, yeah, they're going to try to dirty up his rep before they are. And this is him with these are his twins, his little twin brothers that he actually went to go pick up. So that's him, and that's his twin brothers that his mom told him to go pick up. Pick your brothers up and take them home. Okay, Mom. I think he was after practice or something. And he rang the doorbell twice and got shot twice. That's crazy. That's crazy. I don't know, man. So the more people ask me, so you feel safer in the U.S. than in Jamaica? I'm between a rock and a hard place. I'm between a rock and a hard place. That's him. It's crazy. Just sad for real. The Buffalo Soldier says no, that example doesn't show imminent danger. King Big says, yes, my instructor told me exactly what you said. Yes, and I want everybody else to know that because you have a licensed firearm doesn't mean, oh, I feel scared, bomb fire, and you're gonna get away with it. Like Cinnamon Toast Cinnamon said, it's not, stand your ground is not in every state. So if you're in the state of Florida, you might be able to get away with it, but most other states, you're not going to. Live on the air with SoFlo. Good morning.
Good morning, Safa.
Good morning, fam. How you doing?
It's a very sad story.
Yeah, it happened. I'm
A
glad. I'm glad he
personally,
didn't lose his life.
a personally, when somebody is trying to have a bad people, and I agree with you, Jamaica is way much safer than America.
Yeah, on different levels. I don't want to.
Yes.
I don't want to say it is like, because there are certain things that I don't worry about here in the US that I absolutely have to worry about when I'm in Jamaica. So I'm not saying that it's safer in Jamaica than it is in the US. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I'm between a rock and a hard place when I'm asked that question, because there are some things that I don't have to worry about when I'm on the island. But then there are things that when I'm here in the US, I don't worry about those kind of things.
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
I don't worry about no yang passing me and then gunshots being fired into my car, or somebody
Yeah.
putting a hit out on me and some little boy, some dirty foot boy feel like he's a contract killer coming to get me for a couple $100. And it's like, life is cheap in Jamaica. People get their family members killed for almost for free for
Oh, yeah.
the price
Believe
of a
me, I
decent
know.
pair of sneakers. So I don't worry about stuff like that here in the US. You know, in Jamaica, the house is grilled up. Here, I don't have no grills on my doors and windows. I have a glass front door, even.
Yeah.
You know, but
Yes.
so it's not like me saying one is way better than the other. It's me like compare and contrast the two, and I'm saying there are certain things that I don't have to worry about. Now, these things are very concerning because they concern my children, especially.
Sure. Yes.
Right? Like, what if my children are walking home from school and they got into some difficulty and they ran to the first house to go ring a doorbell and somebody just fires through the glass of their front door? My poor child is there trying to get help
Yes.
and ends up getting shot in the head and shot in the arm, and then have to run away with that to go find help someplace else.
Yes.
So I don't know. Onika said, I'm working with my husband in my community with local law enforcement just so we have a voice for the local youths. We don't have children. Big up to Lulu Ridges for that. Safer in the US if you are at home, says Mervyn the Point in Jamaica Kerr. Eagle TV is in the building. Eagle TV, shout out. Eagle TV says, wow, as long as a weapon involved, you can shoot. Ask for the information. I always want to know how to shoot when I move to Florida. I want to learn. Florida has many ranges. If you move to Florida, there's probably a range anywhere you land in Florida that's right around the corner or down the street from your house. So you walk into a range, and you say, I want to learn how to shoot. They'll ask you, do you have a gun? You say, no, I've never owned a gun. They'll say, okay, so you're a novice. You never owned a gun. You never shot a gun. You want to own a gun. You want to learn how to shoot. We'll start from here. We can start today. This is how much you pay. Pick one of these weapons. You'll pay for your gun. They'll run your background. You'll go through the process, all that other stuff. They'll take you to the range. You'll have an instructor that will stand over you, with you, beside you, until you become really good at shooting. So it's not hard here. Gun culture is big here. And that's why a lot of people here don't really do certain things, because most people here have it on them. And knowing that, you don't want that problem. This is why in Jamaica, see, most gunmen in Jamaica, they know that most of the citizens don't have it on them. Here, they know that most citizens have it on them. I don't know if y'all saw this story. It was in Texas. A young man went into a restaurant and he held up everybody at gunpoint in the restaurant, took the people from off the table, put them on the floor, lay face down, everything. While he was in the restaurant doing all that, right? An older gentleman Looked like, I think he was in his 70s or something. He slowly slid out his gun and gunned him down. And then after he gunned him down, right, he went and stood over him and shot him a couple of times in the head. And then, of course, here comes all the black this and black that. That was overkill. That was overkill. He should be tried and convicted and sent to prison. That guy was no threat after you shot him the first couple of times. And I watched the video, and somebody asked me to speak on the video. And I said, "You're not going to like what I have to say." Have you ever been robbed at gunpoint? Now imagine me in a restaurant having a dinner with my family, right? And now you have me, my kids, and my wife face down in the restaurant. I'm thinking you're probably going to execute all of us in here because we saw your face. So I'm scared. When I'm scared, I'm hoping you don't kill my kids. But if you kill me in here, you're gonna leave my kids without somebody to take care of them, like how I take care of them. So my whole life is like right here, right? And that's what he did. And then he took everybody's wallet and everything. Slide your wallet out your pocket, slide it across the floor. As he was walking through, that old man gunned him down. Got up, went over him, hit him some more times. They wanted the old man to be charged. They asked me to speak about it, and I said the old man is innocent. He didn't do anything wrong. He didn't do anything wrong. He neutralized the threat. That's it. That young man shouldn't have been out there robbing places at gunpoint, and he robbed a packed restaurant at gunpoint. Wasn't packed, but it was quite a few people in there just dining. So I hold the same sentiment to the caller who called before and said the two youths went to go burglarize a house, and the police was coming and they were running, and the police shot one of them and then blamed it on the other one. Hey, y'all shouldn't have been robbing the house. If you weren't robbing the house, you wouldn't have been out here running from the house that they were coming to because the alarm went off and you didn't hear it because it went off at the police station. The police wouldn't have had a reason to be shooting in your direction. So, yes, you have something to do with the death of your friend, whether you like it or not. Giving him 65 years at 15 years old, that's another story. Somebody's got to pay, but I don't think he should just walk away. So be careful out here. All right. No comment from me because I would not be good. It would not be good what I have to say, says Davia. So for this little boy, you have some celebrities that are jumping on board. Halle Berry, Naomi Campbell. I was waiting to see what other celebrity would use their platform for something useful, like speak up about something like this. And now we have Halle Berry is on it, Naomi is leading it, saying that they're sickened by this. They're sickened by this whole incident. On April 13th, a high schooler who's 16 sent out by his parents to collect his siblings from a residential address, but he accidentally went to the wrong street in Kansas City, Missouri. You know what's crazy also? Listen how they twist the story, right? They said his mom, and there's no mention of a dad being in his house. It's like a single mother, so people are already thinking, yeah, it's only a mom and a single mother, and he probably didn't. He probably went to that house to actually do something. Blah blah blah. That's why it's important to show this little boy's background, show who he really is, and to get his story correctly. He has mom and dad. They just told him to go over there and grab your siblings. And he went to the wrong street, one street over, same number, but terrace versus street, and got shot twice. His aunt, who's Faith Spoonmore, she wrote on Facebook post, she said the man in the house the man in the home opened the door, looked my nephew in the eyes, and shot him in his head. So this is not how the others are reporting it, that he shot through the glass. She said he opened the door, he looked my nephew in his eyes, and he shot him in his head. My nephew fell to the ground, and he shot him again. See, that's different. That's different from, I'm a little bit old and I'm frail and I can't really see too good. And the glass on the front door, I thought he was standing inside of my living room, so I had to defend myself. That's different from opening the door, looking me in the eye, and shooting somebody in the head. And then when he fell, shot him again on the ground. It's crazy. She said my nephew fell to the ground and he shot him again. Yarl, which is his name, he was still conscious after falling to the ground and he managed to run to the neighbor's house for help. However, no one answered there at the neighbor's house and he had to knock on the door of about 3 other houses before someone came to his aid. Even when he was helped, he was told to lie on the ground with his hands up despite being injured. So when the police came, the police had him at gunpoint, telling him, lay on the ground, put your hands up. So he's laying on the ground with his hands up with a bullet in his head and one in his arm. 16. Yo, freaking crazy. That's Yarl. His family's story is different. Just look at these kids, right? Just have a look at them. This is how this young man dresses for school. And that's the twins that he went to go pick up. The student was immediately taken to the hospital and is said to be recovering from his injuries, which reportedly included 2 gunshots, one to the head. The suspect, who has not been identified, which he is now identified, that suspect is now in custody and he's charged, right? The attorney for their family, they have Benjamin Crump, said in a statement that we demand swift action. We demand swift action, arrest and prosecute to the fullest extent of the law. Oscar-winning actress Halle Berry tweeted, she says his name is #Ralph Yarl, and I'm sick and I'm tired of this feeling. My heart completely broke when I learned that this precious 16-year-old who accidentally rang the door of the wrong address in an attempt to pick up his siblings was shot in the head by a man who didn't want him on his property. This innocent child is now fighting for his life. He went home yesterday, by the way, and he's recovering at home. This could be your child. This should not happen. This is Halle Berry. Please do something today. Join me. And please contact prosecutor Zachary Thompson and demand an immediate arrest and bring the appropriate charges. So it wasn't until Jennifer Hudson, Halle Berry, Naomi Campbell started doing the hashtag with his name on it, #Ralph Yarl, and telling their audience, which is millions of people, to please join us and bombard the prosecutor's office with phone calls telling him, we need an arrest here and we need you to file the appropriate charges. It wasn't until that something was done. Dream Girl is Jennifer Lopez. She wrote, my God, heartbroken for this young man and his family. I'm praying for his complete recovery. You know, they have all his pictures there. He's strung up in the hospital. Supermodel Naomi Campbell, she penned an emotional Instagram post. She said, say his name, hashtag Ralph Yarl. Saddened and sick to my stomach. When will this stop? Heartbreaking beyond words. An innocent child, son, brother, precious 16-year-old who accidentally rang the door of the wrong address in attempt to pick up his sibling, shot in the head. This innocent child is now fighting for his life. And, you know, they're all up here. More celebrities are joining the fight and whatever. Let me tell you, let's leave it here this morning, right? We're going to leave this live right here this morning. Let me say this. If you are of the what they call black, or whatever you want to be identified as, or whatever you want to identify as, African American, African, black, whatever, you know who you are when I'm speaking to you. If you feel like you come from the same people as me, I'm talking to you. If you have nephews and nieces, children of your own, we move by a different code. And if you're not teaching your children this, then you're setting them up for failure. All right? If you're not teaching them how to interact with law enforcement, if you're not teaching them who to go to for help, who to stay away from, if you're not teaching in this situation right here, there's nothing he could have done. He absolutely could not have done a thing. He went to where he thought he was sent and he rang the doorbell. That's all he did. Man shot him twice. He had to run for his life. There's nothing he could have done. But outside of that, there are things that you need to teach your children that other people don't have to worry about. Some of you out here thinking you're like other people. And I'm telling you that the system will never see you like it sees them. And they will never treat your children like how theirs get treated. You know what I mean. With that said, be careful out here. Your life is precious. Treat it like such. All right. Manners and respect to each and every one of you tuning in. Have a wonderful day. This is something to think about. This is something to think about. But we're not angry. But it's something to think about. I'll catch y'all tomorrow. God spare my life right here on Morning Thoughts. Have a wonderful day. I'm out. Peace.